People don't even have to click the buy button right now. All they have to do is buy me a cutting board that's $15 that ships to me in 3 days and that has 5-star reviews. They
Wow.
say that, and ChatGPT will place an order on their behalf. They just have to
Wow.
go to the door, get the package, and
Yeah,
come
it's
back.
gonna
That's too
be
much.
And welcome back to the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John. Sorry, we were talking a lot, and I'm by myself. I feel very like alone almost. All I have is this monitor in front of me with all these boxes. Because my co-host and wife still gone,
How
still
did that
on
go?
vacation,
Vacation, I
and
wish.
I'm here holding the fort down, trying to keep kids alive and these businesses running. Anyway,
Listen, I feel for you on that aspect. Yes.
on which side, the kids or
The kids.
the kids?
The business, that's fine. The kids,
Yeah.
That can go.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that's rough. So this episode is still brought to you by
Katie with Monarch Pine. If you're looking for jewelry findings or blanks, make sure to check out her website, monarchpine.com, and use code Riley Black for 10% off. But of course, patrons get a higher discount.
Right. And while we're talking about patrons, if you are patrons, be sure to join the TRBP Hangout Facebook group. That's strictly for patrons. That's where we do After Darks, and you get those codes for it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, or you don't get those codes, apparently, given that response.
Did we
Um,
have,
what?
we missed another After Dark because I was here.
Oh, well, sorry, guys. So you don't get After Darks this year because we've missed a few this year already.
Hot mess.
And you know what else
my
I just
goodness.
realized? We also haven't done names in a while. So thank you, patrons, for being on and joining Patreon. That's probably why you're dropping like flies, because we
No,
got
I
too
hope
many
not.
things going on,
No.
and we're dropping the ball here and there. But we should get our act together next month.
So I
What?
know we'll talk about this in like the after the
Life update.
life update part, but like, I mean, if anybody would understand, I would hope it would be like our listeners. You
Yeah.
know, it's because
they
of
know-
traveling for work,
Yeah.
traveling for family emergencies, and
Yeah. That
and all of that. So
that Union
it's-
Station, the Hot Mess Express pulled up to Denver over
Right
there at
here.
Union Station.
It's literally a train station. So yeah.
So TRBP Hangout, and then if you're not a patron yet, don't worry. The Riley Black Project community Facebook group is where you get all things Riley Black Project.
And we owe them an After Dark. So just know that they'll
Gen Pop?
no.
No. After yes.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was patrons only.
So maybe they'll
this
be-
month. I have to look, but I think it was
Yeah.
patrons only this month.
So then maybe there'll be like an extra After Dark. Maybe you'll get 2 in 1 month.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were supposed to have 2 in this month.
Okay, so maybe you'll have a month full of After Darks. Get ready.
We'll just have one every weekend to make up for it.
Every weekend we'll have an After Dark.
That
And
works.
we'll find new games to play and stuff. Anyway, without further ado, our guests today run on pizza and coffee, as many of us do.
Same.
I can't remember the third. I forget the other one. Anyway, most importantly, they have helped over 100 makers with their website.
That's awesome.
Yes. Welcome to the show, and I hope I forgot to clarify her name, but welcome
I
to
know
the
her
show. Let me know if I say it right.
Okay.
Srishti and Arpit.
Perfect.
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 Thank
You did a
you.
great
Of
job,
Esenay
John.
Digital.
Thank you.
I
Sure,
researched
her name right.
the pronunciation,
Did you?
but yes, I did. But sometimes
Sometimes
they
it's
get it
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
That's
I know how it is for my last name, because
Oh, the worst.
I have settled with Aguila, but my last name is Aguila. So I understand the name. So
Yeah, trust me, like a person, I was in Canada and I used to buy like Starbucks, and she ended up naming me Sarah. She was like, I cannot do your name. I'm so sorry. I was like, that's all right. Till the time I get my coffee, I'm good.
Like, call me whatever you want. Just give me my coffee.
You're
I mean-
like a name, guys. I always get armpit. Like whenever somebody
It's
types
really
out,
hard not
Oh
to
my
say
God.
that.
Oh my god, and I
That's
cannot do
funny.
anything but laugh.
Yeah.
Right. I have to like really think about it and say, like, tell myself, don't say the M. Arpits.
Yeah.
And like then I'm like aggressive with it. Like, armpit.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense why like a lot of like my nail people, they'd be like, he actually, my old nail guy, he didn't change his name. His name was Viet, and that was actually like his name. But that's why, their name is Mary or Cindy when you know that their name is not really Mary or Cindy. It's just easier than correcting people all the time of like how to
Yeah.
say your name.
True.
Yeah. So how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you guys? How's it going for you guys?
Hanging in there. I'm
Yeah.
tired. I've been running around, way outside of my normal routine, but it's been good. I'm thankful that I have a job that allows me this flexibility to be able to do this. So I'm incredibly thankful for that. It's funny because all of my like friends and family have normal jobs, so like if I'll actually be available like during the day, I'm like, all of my friends and family are like working and busy, and I'm like, do do do.
Yeah. That's great.
And
That's great. That's always so hard to find, but when you do, it's always a blessing.
That's true.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. What
So
time is it out there for
yeah.
you guys?
So we are in Mexico City right now. So are the times that we're in is I think roughly 8:30 or
8:30.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it should
Okay.
be 8:30 now. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Not too bad. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the night owl over here.
Yeah.
You are.
Are you both in different time zones?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Oh,
Which
Wow.
threw me off when I told you guys the time. First, I said 7 p.m. Eastern, but it's 7 p.m. Mountain time because that's
Right.
what time zone I'm in here, and he's in Eastern, so it's 2 hours
Yeah.
later
Are you
or
close
earlier.
to
Or whatever.
Arizona right now?
Huh?
I'm in Colorado
Oh, you're in
Oh, okay.
Colorado. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for
Yeah.
you, it's what, like 9:30 now?
for John. Yeah.
No. No,
No, for him
John.
it's 10:30, I
For
think.
John
Oh
it's
yeah.
10:30.
It's 8:30 here. 8:30 for me.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Same time
so
zone
same
as
time zone
ours.
as us.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
nice. You guys
Nice.
got the whole night ahead of you.
Yeah, John.
I'm
Yeah,
over
so
here.
what is the time difference for you guys when you're back home? Because you don't live there, right?
No, we do. We keep traveling to the States and Mexico for workshops and conferences, trade shows.
Okay.
But we're back in May. We're back end of May. And then it's like what, 11 and a half hours of time difference. So
Yeah.
Mm.
right now in India, it's 8 in the morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I remember when we did one with someone in Australia,
Yeah.
and that one was a whole difficult
Oh my
thing
God.
trying to figure
Yeah.
out like
Time
I
zones
think
and-
we were recording in the morning and she was recording like late at night, but
Yeah.
like yeah.
Super late. If it's morning for you
It's
guys, I think
early.
it's super late for in
like
Australia.
2 a.m.,
Yeah,
1 a.m. or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us as
Yeah.
well. Like we keep jumping time zones, but now we've gotten so used to it because
We don't
we
sleep.
yeah
That's
we
that's a trick.
Right, in
Pizza
conclusion,
and
no
coffee.
sleep.
Pizza
Right.
and coffee.
now you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're
Yeah.
traveling all the time, pizza and coffee stay consistent everywhere,
yeah.
right? It's not like
Right.
so. It's like no matter where you go, hey, let me grab a slice of pepperoni pizza and give me a coffee. I know that's gonna taste exactly the same
Yeah.
everywhere.
Right.
Can't go wrong with that.
It's like instant energy and instant caffeine. Oh,
Yeah.
the blend is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about like your background. Like how did you guys get into this? And then also what led you to the maker community as well? Because were you doing this before you kind of became a part of the maker community?
Sure. So do you want to take that?
Yeah, of course. So I'll tell. So I was I'm an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer,
Mhm.
and she's what are you?
What am I?
She did her bachelor's in
So I am more like John.
yeah.
So he, like experiencing different and diversified backgrounds. But my main earlier I used to work like in the corporate communications and marketing background, like in my job
Mhm.
roles
Yeah.
and companies and PR. And that's when, we decided to
Yeah, so like
combine our
we were
synergies.
together for our masters in Dublin, and that's
Mm.
where we met actually. And
Okay.
then we came back to India when COVID hit. So before that, before like going before our, before we met in masters, so she, being from the same background, she used to work with a lot of clients. She had, she was freelancing and working for in internships for companies that took care of clients with respect to marketing, digital PR, and everything like that. So she was accustomed to what she was doing, and she had a
Right.
passion for that already. When we came back to India, we met, and then I got a job, but everything was shut, so I couldn't start the job until everything opened up. And that's
Yeah.
when we decided, hey, let's do something. Let's do something of our own. And during that whole phase, we kind of saw that a lot of businesses were shutting down online, shutting down
Offline, yeah.
physically offline, yeah,
Right.
because they could not sell. There were no audience who could go to their shops and everything, and nobody knew how to market themselves online, how to take leverage of that whole space that's available to them digitally. And so many businesses in our family, friends, they're struggling. And then because she knew about what digital marketing is and what the benefits are, we decided that hey, we should do something to educate those people, right? We started off as spreading information, knowledge, like hey, this is what you can do. We She used to offer like sessions. You offered like
Yeah,
consultancy calls
yeah,
to businesses, to how they can make use of Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube
Yeah.
ads, and make content and kind of go from there. And that's when we kept getting deep into all of that, and then we decided, hey, this is actually nice.
Mhm.
People don't know about this, and it's high time that they do.
Right.
Because we obviously don't want a business to just fail because they're not able to utilize something that's there in front of them, right?
Right.
A product's not working, services not working, that's a totally different case. But if everything's good and the only constraint was reaching to the right audience, then we had a solution for that.
Right.
So that's
yeah.
when we decided that hey, probably we should help them out. And that's when we decided to open up our own agency. It was very small, it was like a boutique, two of
Mhm.
us in the agency, hands on.
And I remember, oh, well, sorry to
Yeah.
cut you in between. I remember. So, because I had worked in full time jobs, like, and I'd done corporate communications for Google, PepsiCo, HCL. So it was a very big platform. When
Yeah.
you're working with such companies, their ticket sizes, their events, bandwidth, everything is like big. So,
Mhm.
like when you start something of your own, you start small. You handle
Right.
finance, you handle, you're the
Everything. Yeah.
HR, you're the finance, you're the business owner, you're the salesperson, you're everything.
Well,
And
and then like, I mean, a lot of times for a lot of us, especially in the maker community, it just kind of happens accidentally. You
Mhm.
either start making something because it was fun, and then people
yeah,
are like, you should sell this.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then, or, you do it as a hobby and then it turns into a business
Mhm.
because now you're getting orders left and right.
yeah,
And you never, I remember not knowing how to register as a business. I remember not knowing how to find business insurance, like setting up a web. There's so much that
yeah,
like, I was in corporate up until, this until 2018 as well. And I didn't know, I didn't have any like business owners in like my family or even really in my like friend group. And so
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody to like reach out to for these kind of things. You just have to like
do it
figure it
yourself.
out as you go.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Yeah,
then, it sucks that like how things are now too, because like, John and I talk about it all the time. When you register your business, all of a sudden the scam, like
Ugh.
they're like, oh, fresh meat.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
they run
Yeah.
they're all over you. Oh, pay for this certificate to get us, and it's
Yeah.
free. It's public access
Yeah.
to
Well,
some of these things.
we just got one to renew our
Our
annual
LLC.
report, and it was like on the mail that they sent, and it looked super legit. It was like
Yeah.
Right,
$400. I'm like, I don't remember ever having to pay $400 for
right.
anything with business. So I
yeah,
went to like our in Florida Sunbiz,
Mhm.
and it was like $139 to do it
yeah,
like through the
Straight
government as
through
opposed to
all
paying
the
the
this.
state of Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so like, little things like that, you have no idea. You don't know what you don't know, right? And
yeah,
you're
Yeah.
a new business owner, you're scared to do things wrong.
Yeah.
and you get these like official looking documents and emails,
Yeah.
and yeah, there's just so
Yeah.
much that you're trying to literally figure it out all at the same time.
Exactly.
And so finding those like people and connections that you can outsource certain things to,
Yeah.
that you
Also,
either
yeah.
don't want to learn, don't have time to learn, you tried to learn and just couldn't absorb it, because there's those things too. There's certain things like finance. I have a bachelor's in finance, and all it taught me was that I don't want to do finance.
Yeah.
It taught me, oh, I need to outsource someone, and I at least have
Yeah.
half a clue of what they're talking about, but I don't want to do it myself.
Yeah. The Riley Black Project is sponsored by Monarch Pine.
Monarch Pine is your trusted source for premium laser blanks and jewelry findings. From large loop earring hooks made specifically for acrylic and wood earrings to laser-tested stainless steel necklace and bracelet blanks, they have everything you need to bring your creative ideas to life.
As a maker, you know the value of quality supplies. And that's exactly what Monarch Pine delivers. Whether you're crafting as a hobby or running a full-time business, their products make it easy to design confidently and create stunning pieces.
Head to monarchpine.com and use code RileyBlack to get 10% off your order. Riley Black patrons get an even bigger discount, so don't miss out.
While you're at it, join the Monarch Pine Craft Supply Insiders Facebook group. It's a vibrant community where makers share tips, inspiration, and their incredible creations.
Monarch Pine, where your creativity takes center stage. Visit monarchpine.com and use code RileyBlack today.
Not tomorrow, today.
Are you tired of endlessly joining jump rings?
There's gotta be an easier way.
Are your wrists aching after numerous orders? Introducing Keychain Thingies, the time-saving solution for anyone making keychains.
It's so fast and easy.
These revolutionary plastic thingies make large or multiple orders a snap. So easy, even a child can do it.
That was so easy.
So what are you waiting for? Go to keychainthingies.com and order now. Keychain Thingies will change your life. However, they should not be used to cure any medical ailments, repair broken relationships, or help lose weight. Do not use Keychain Thingies unless you want to save time and aggravation.
So,
With him as well, because so when I met him, I remember I've always envisioned of having my own company, running my own business. But the reason why I was even like doing jobs was to kind of understand how the structure works and everything, so that I could start something of my own. And he was always the stable guy. Like he would always want stability, okay, going to like a 9 to 5, coming back, not having to worry about like the XYZs that come after the 9 to 5.
we both pushed them into freelance work.
Exactly.
And then when we started, I was like, okay, you know what, Arpit? So slowly and gradually, I was like, okay, let's do some freelancing. Now let's just start like legitimate, like opening a company of our own. And he was like, oh my God, this feels like a trap.
It didn't feel it was. I mean, it was such a hard phase at that point. I mean, obviously, like we had to figure out an accountant. We had to figure out how
Yeah,
to
all
solve
of it. Yeah.
money, so many technical terms, taxes. Oh my God, don't even get me started on taxes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Struggle
Right.
till it. Like you have to file this, file that. If you don't file, there's a penalty. Oh my
Right.
God.
right.
It's such a pain. But yeah, I mean, it would have obviously been nice if there was like a support system, somebody we could outsource everything to, and that's not too expensive, obviously. So but yeah, I mean, it's again a journey to figure out everything yourself.
But I think
I
it's worth
yeah, it's worth, it's obviously worth everything. We learn a lot, and you wouldn't believe, after that, after like we started and we were an agency officially, we had so many businesses that just came to us with an idea, and everything after that we took care of it. We helped them register their company, we helped them with finance and accounting, we helped them with buying a domain, we helped them with their brand name, their logo, everything, like starting from ground zero, just with an idea to
Yeah.
make that brand go from 0 to 1. Like
Right.
it was, we had that journey, and I think like a part of our experience has been to that phase of our life, and that's what probably made us, or put us where we are today, so that we can help a larger group of people, a community, who probably is new to all of this, and then obviously they're busy making stuff, they're crafters, they're makers themselves, and they don't want to do ad hoc stuff that can be done by someone else. And
Yeah.
that's why we feel that it's super important that everybody has access to that kind of information and experience that they require.
also to answer your question, Crystal. talking of how we entered the industry. So we got introduced to this industry by two main people. First is John from Makerflow,
Oh,
and then
nice.
second is Catherine Ewers from Primary Market.
Oh,
So
Mhm.
nice.
both have been a blessing when it comes to helping us initially understand the industry, the needs, the demands, what exactly people are struggling with. And
Right.
that was actually essential because that yeah, that kind of helped us like find a solution and then become like entrants in the industry and understand
Mhm.
the market and come up with a solution.
Yeah.
Right.
So John, I remember we used to have like multiple conversations with John, and he would be like, okay, you know what, this is what's happening, this is what I see makers struggle with. I really want to help them. Your services can come into play, so why don't you just like try to figure this out and like maybe help people or help in educating people more about digital scalability, because there's a lot when it comes to online growth, but it's just
Yeah.
like taking the right step and moving in the right direction. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, I think John and Catherine are I wouldn't we wouldn't be here without them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, those are two great like foot in the door
Mhm.
um,
Exactly.
for the industry. But I think this is a perfect time to talk a little bit about your services and what you do provide for the community. So let's talk a little bit about what SNA Digital, offers.
sure. So we basically are, we're a bunch of people. So we have our team incorporated in the UAE and India, and we help brands grow online in the digital space, like we spoke about earlier. So when it comes down to brand strategy and implementation, now you have an idea, and you have a name, or you're just starting out as a maker, or even if you're like a supplier to the maker and you're just starting out, how do you what do you do, what is the next step that you're supposed to take. So we help in brainstorming with our clients, and we help in positioning their brand in such a way that it helps in creating a recall. So brand strategy and implementation is one thing that we do. Then building websites, everybody in today's day and age needs to have a virtual brick and mortar store. So it's
Yes.
very important
Yeah.
to have your own virtual brick and mortar store where people come. Even if you're selling through multiple marketplaces,
Yes.
it is important to have your own identity.
I
And for
see people all the time who, especially starting out, and I get it because again, it's a lot, right? Setting up a website for people who don't know how is nerve-wracking. It's overwhelming. You think you need to have code if you want to do anything outside of like,
Yeah.
standard
Hmm.
stuff. And then as makers, a lot of the stuff that we do doesn't fit into the standard, even with Shopify, right? You have to add in apps if you want them to be able to customize things. And I don't use a ton of apps on Shopify, but even I have several, myself,
Right.
without selling physical products,
yeah,
right now. Um, but yeah, it's just it's overwhelming, right? And none of us, well, most of us, right, don't have that as a background. And so then they'll go and only have Etsy because
Yeah.
exactly.
Etsy is generally easy to set
Easy
up.
to set
And
up.
then that was overwhelming for me when I first started. I went in there and I was selling t-shirts at the time. And once I realized, like when I was doing a listing, that I had to like list out all the sizes and colors of the shirts, I was like, I'm out. It was so much, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, like there's a lot of people just out of simplicity who will choose, these online marketplaces. And I get it. But at the same time, that also means now you don't own any of your own customers. You don't
Hmm.
have their
Exactly.
email addresses. If
Absolutely.
Etsy has some glitch, which they have all the time, and
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
lose your shop,
Right.
now you
you lose
lost
your
everything.
identity.
You're
Yeah,
Yeah.
gone. I mean, if that's your source of income, I mean, we've seen so many people like right
yeah.
before next APA happened in
Hmm.
February. We had so many inquiries of people. I don't know what happened at that point, but it was like an influx of people coming, and
Hmm.
all of their Etsy stores were shut down,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and a
They changed
couple they
policies.
changed policies,
Yeah.
and a
Mhm.
lot of them actually relied on that for their daily living.
Income.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was so saddening to kind of hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, whenever we talk about a comparison between Etsy and Shopify, obviously every platform has its own pros and cons, right? With Shopify, you
Right.
need to bring in your own traffic, you need to market your brand. Etsy has an inbuilt traffic to it, so you don't have to worry about that, worry about
Right.
visibility. As long as you target the keywords and the algorithm of Etsy, you're good to go. But
Hmm.
with your own website, you bring in the traffic, and once you build a community, there's no stopping, right? Sky's the
Right.
limit. You can do whatever you want, brand yourself, market yourselves, build a whole community, have events or giveaways with that
Yeah.
community.
Retain it.
You can
Yeah.
actually retain that community and engage with that community in your virtual space, on Facebook, on Instagram, on so many
Mm.
different platforms. But it's super important to have that community in place,
Yeah.
and that's only possible when you have your own platform and not
Right.
third party marketplace.
Well,
Oh,
and just with anything, right? You need to diversify,
yeah.
right? Because
Exactly.
right now Etsy could be hot. Well, then,
Right.
maybe now, say God forbid, there's like a Etsy scandal or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like things can change in the drop of a hat. And if you don't have a presence outside of one way, and that's the same thing with your website too. If the
Hmm.
website is the only thing you have and you don't have a way to communicate with your customers, like either through social media, through an email list,
Yeah.
through those other things, then what then like now it's gone. So you have
Yeah.
to have those redundancies
Exactly.
and that diversification in order to, protect your livelihood, especially if it is something that is, supporting your family.
Yeah, and it doesn't only have to be like Etsy that it goes down or that your shop goes away. It's
Yeah.
also trends, right? Because
Hmm.
now a lot of people are seeing really good success with live shopping, like with sites like Whatnot.
Hmm.
So if you want to switch, if you've been selling Etsy and pushing Etsy this whole time, and now you want to switch platforms, if you have a home base like your own site, you have that home base where people can find you and then go to whether it is Etsy or if they want to
Right.
catch your live shopping or
Right.
whatever the next trend is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very important to kind of stay ahead of the curve and
Mhm.
never lay your eggs in one basket. That is what we tell
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
You should always diversify. You should always be present and accessible on all platforms. We never
Mhm.
encourage people to, like, if they're building a website, then they should get off a marketplace. No, we in fact
Right.
tell them that, you
Oh,
should optimize your marketplace in accordance to AI and the new technology trends that are happening and taking place. So, because it's kind of like an amalgamation of like a lot of things, a lot of strategies that kind of makes a brand visible out there in the market.
Mhm.
So, the essential aspect is to make sure that you're all out,
yeah.
you're all accessible, sorry, and you are basically trying to provide as much convenience to your consumer as much as you can.
Yeah.
So that they don't like run away to another brand or
Yeah.
another competitor.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys not only help people set up their websites, but you also help with like the SEO, search
SEO,
engine
yes.
optimization, and you get people to their website. And what else? What else do you
Yeah.
guys offer?
So SEO is one thing. Then marketplace management is something that we do. Like I said, optimizing Etsy stores, Fair, Makerplace, wherever you are, Amazon. Helping optimize listings and making sure that your listings are able to reach your audience,
Mm,
and like content, graphics, anything basically social media. So anything that you feel you need when it comes down to online contribution and
mhm.
visibility or digital scalability, we help in that.
There's
Yeah.
also another thing. So with SEO, it's so search engine optimization is kind of heading towards obsolescence right now. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's a word,
Mm,
but it's heading towards that. And what's coming in now is AEO, right? That's answer engine optimization. And that basically means is that people are now searching for businesses on AI engines,
Yep.
right? They're searching for
So
answers.
I just got an email from Shopify
Yeah,
the other day, like last week or something like that, where it was saying, they can now purchase your products through Chat GPT, like
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
from Shopify.
they actually rolled that out in November last year
Yeah.
in
Mm,
2025. and they've been implementing that across. They started with the U.S. And then they
Agentic
moved to
commerce.
Canada. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's something that's part of agentic commerce is what we call it. So that's basically, and Shopify and Etsy both have kind of integrated with agentic commerce, and that basically means is that if your product page's structure is correct, if you're following the right guidelines, if you have everything that an AI agent looks for in your product page, you could be one of those businesses or products that are recommended as top three
Mm.
products. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
then what's going further is that people don't even have to click the buy button right now. All they have to do is buy me a cutting board that's $15 that ships to me in 3 days and that has 5-star reviews. They
Wow.
say that, and ChatGPT will place an order on their behalf. They just have to
Wow.
go to the door, get the package, and
Yeah,
come
it's
back.
I'm
gonna
too
be
much
right
of a
on the
control
door.
freak to ever allow that. But that's awesome, especially for like men who are like,
Yeah,
find
last
something good
minute.
for my wife with her name on it. And
Yeah, you won't believe like 50% of the people globally are dependent on AI when it comes to purchase decision making
Yeah.
journey. So half the population
wow.
literally are using AI.
Yeah, we just saw the trend today. Like the number of searches that happened on Google, right? The market share kind of a thing. So from like 95%, it dropped down to 80% in the last 2 years. And AI, right? AI, I'm talking about ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini,
Right.
went up from, let's say they started at zero, they went up to 20% now.
Mm.
So like the increase is super phenomenal within the last 2 years with a decrease in Google searches.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's an answer in itself why AEO is considerably important when you
Mhm.
compare it to SEO, right?
Right.
If you're good with SEO, you're searching, you're visible on Google. That does not guarantee a foolproof plan for you in the future,
Right.
right? If you're not visible on AI, you're probably getting obsolete day by day. You're not even realizing it, and there's going to be one day when there are brands who are already working on their AEO strategy,
Mhm.
they're suddenly going to come up and beat you as competition.
Yeah.
Right.
We actually
Yeah.
had a cool moment. What was that? A week or so ago
Yep.
where
We
we
were
were
looking
looking up
for
something and
production.
yeah, production companies or something. And uh, it actually recommended Riley Black
Very glad.
Studios. And we
Yeah,
were like,
there you go.
oh,
Whoa.
Yeah.
and like, I
Guys,
mean, as you know, our website needs some help, and we've had
Yes.
some conversations,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we are getting that help
Yeah.
because, when we did the first one, I was pretty confident when we were setting it up, the
Mhm.
the podcast, rentable podcast studio. Um, I did that one kind of like 50% on my own, and then 50% I had our friend Sarah help us out with it. And I didn't love it 100%, but I was good with it. We had
Right.
all of the information that we needed on there, and they could contact us if they
Well,
needed to.
and we were fishing in like a local pond because we
Right,
were a
where they're
physical.
barely on Facebook, let
Exactly.
alone, so like.
Yeah.
But now that we're shifting more into the video and the trade shows and higher profile
Yeah.
customers,
Mhm.
Mhm.
clients, we need our website to match that.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
And we're just so busy right now, and we're
Yeah.
spread so
Well,
thin, especially
and
with like the
and at
stuff
the
that,
same time, it's more than just the website, and
mhm,
where we were locally, we can show up physically to
Yeah.
local events and get
Yeah.
our name out that way.
right.
Now we're shopping nationally, and we can't do that. So we knew that we were gonna have to eventually at some point find someone to help us out with it. And then at
Yeah.
I for me, I already knew of you guys. We already because we had seen each other at Next Level,
Yeah.
and I think we
APA.
saw each other at APA last year, not this last one.
Mm.
Yeah.
But this
Well,
one
but
I was
and
really
I
like,
didn't
no,
because I was so
oh, because
busy
you
at
were
Next Level and
teaching and yeah,
APA
Yeah.
that like, if we don't have staff yet, and if you don't
right,
have staff to man your booth, that means you're there the whole
yeah,
time.
Exactly.
And
Trust. We know the
people would
feeling.
relieve me so that I could go to the bathroom, but that
yeah,
didn't mean I could go like talk to people, if they stopped me on the way, but like I couldn't, so I didn't actually even be able to get that until this last APA. And even
right,
then it was limited but because you were right
And
across.
that was right across from
Yeah,
your booth
yeah,
I
we
too.
think
were.
I think it was great. Like, this way, like Kristen and I could bond, so we were pretty happy.
Yeah,
We were
Yeah.
Yeah,
complaining.
we'd catch eyes when it would like slow down a little bit, and we'd be like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And one thing for me, also like you've worked with a lot of our friends. So
mhm.
that was a big plus for me.
The
But
trust
the
factor.
the trust factor. But one thing that like stood out from APA was Stan from Lens Digital
yeah,
coming over just to say hi or whatever, and had like this idea to something with AEO or SEO. He has some like, oh, I want to talk to you because we need to start doing this and that, and you're like, bro, we're already doing that. Like we do you not
That was
like pay
Dan too.
attention to the calls? Like
oh god,
we've been doing that for months now. So like that was something that
Dan.
was like really cool. I'm like, oh, like not only do they like work, but it was like real time validation. Like, oh, they're on top of it as well. So
yeah,
I was like, I was already like, we gotta see how we can work together. But that was like, oh no, we have to work together because
so
because
thank
that is
you for trusting us, guys.
yeah.
I mean, that's what you also hopefully can expect in a company that you hire too, right? You
Yeah,
hire someone because you don't know those things. So you hope that in hiring that person that they can think about things that you would have never thought about because it's not your space. It's not
Right.
your expertise. And you
absolutely.
hope that they're like, "Oh no, we already did that months ago," or "Yes,
Right.
that's already on the list,"
Right.
or,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like you guys, right? I mean, you guys have your area of expertise, which comes in handy for people like us and other
Right.
companies as well, because you guys are ahead of the curve, understanding each technology, what needs to be done, what
Mhm.
is perfect, what's not.
yeah,
So you guys are like kind of like the mentors, when it comes to
Mhm.
your area of expertise. So
Yeah.
I think that's with every industry and with every brand. So
Right.
but yes, trust is a very big pivotal
yeah.
factor. And Stan, yes, we worked with Lens Digital, we worked with True Flat, all these people. And uh, we like to the reason why we and this is why we set us apart from other agencies is because the point when do you remember that conversation I had with you when we started the agency, and I was like, Arpit, people are fed up of agencies
Oh
globally.
yeah.
People, I
It
would,
was
Yeah.
a week long conversation,
yeah.
not hours, not minutes, a week conversation.
Yeah,
Oh
I
god.
was like, I was working in a company, and I would hear every other client coming in and complaining like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
we hired this agency, they didn't work out, they
Mhm.
charged us a bomb, they
Yep.
they costed us this much, they put us on like a contract, and things have not worked out, and we don't know what they're doing, and
Right.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
And we would be like, okay, let's just try to
We
pivot our ways.
even thought of, let's not even call us as a freaking agency.
Right.
Let's say we're
It's like
doing
a bad name, it's
yeah,
like a bad omen.
exactly
Mhm.
like it's so defamed right now, like the word agency, that
Right.
people think agency, oh my god, either they're expensive or they're hard
Mhm.
to work with, or they're not
Yeah.
gonna listen to
Or they're
us,
not
they're
transparent.
not transparent, they're
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
overcharge us for everything. I'm like, no.
We fought the same thing actually, even locally with our rentable podcast studio. So
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
had a free local business highlight, and we were just using that to get the name out about our studio. They were recording it in our studio, and it was our way of giving back to the community to highlight another local business, but then also get some attention, free attention, right, to our business. But there
Mhm.
were so many others that were charging, but
Yeah,
claiming it was free until the end of the session,
Right.
and
yeah,
then would surprise them with,
yeah,
and we didn't even know that they were doing that until we invited several people, and a couple people were like cautious and didn't
Right.
trust that it was free.
yeah,
And then she was like, "Oh, I'd love to, but I have to save up because I just did this other one." And we're like,
Mhm.
"What other one?" And then she had done one, and then they surprised her with a $500. If
that's
you want to keep this up for longer than
Yeah.
a week or a day or whatever on YouTube, you have to pay $500. And as a new business, she did, but then she didn't see any return on it. And so now she had this mistrust within our community and our business
yeah,
type. And same with video packages too.
Yeah.
And
Because
you see it with
a lot of people
photographers.
would go with marketing agencies for content, right?
Yeah.
And they'd
And what they
spend
do
$3,000 a month and not get anything
and
for
not
it.
get
So
any
then,
video because they just do like Canva graphics, which there's nothing wrong with it
right.
when you add
If
that
it's
in addition
effective, yeah.
to,
Yeah.
no pictures, no nothing. It was just all like just AI mixed with
Yeah.
text posts, and like those really don't move the needle. But they were
No.
charging premium prices, so it left a bad taste in a lot of people. Again, with like marketing agencies, they're
Mhm.
like, oh well, I don't want to go with like another marketing agency because I didn't see any return on it, and it's like, no, this is a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you guys won't believe, like, people have asked us questions, like they have reached out to agencies and they've said that, oh, hey, you know what, having a or building a website will give you sales. But it is not like that.
Yeah.
Like, we tell them that whenever we build websites, we're like,
Right.
listen, you, the moment your website is live, it's not like you're gonna get sales. No, you have
Right. Now comes the hard work of
Right.
getting people to know that you have one. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
and people, and I don't know, like, this is actually, it's not just like a country problem, it is a global problem.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, we've witnessed this in Europe, UAE, India, Australia, US, Canada, Mexico, everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
everywhere people are suffering from the same problem.
I think it's an agency's MO to kind of attract customers. Like, hey, let's increase your sales. You need a new website, and
Right.
we can tell them that after you build a new website, there's XYZ more that you need to do to
Yeah.
get those sales up. Right? Building a website, yes, that's the first step. Making sure that your foundation's strong, it's solid. But what next? Right? Then they start building them more. Okay, now if you want sales, let's do this, let's do that. But
Yeah.
that's the kind of opacity that's present, that they don't tell them that building a website's not enough. It's the
Mhm.
first step. They don't phase it out.
Yeah.
Right? What we
Right.
do is that whenever we get on these strategy calls, uh, we understand like what's important for a business, what stage they're in, and how they want to move forward. And basis of that, when we get back to them with our set of ideas, is that, hey, this is your phase one, this is your phase two, and this is your phase three, right?
Mhm.
Now, this is how much time we're going to spend in phase one. Then we start phase two, and then we start phase three. If
Yeah.
you're comfortable, let's move ahead. If not, let's see what happens after phase
I mean,
one.
it's a clear digital growth
Exactly.
map
It's
plan.
everything
Right.
super transparent. We don't pressurize, we don't force,
Mhm.
we don't, so as I mentioned, like, we're not here to earn the buck just because for the sake of,
Right.
destroying a company, or destroying a strong word, but yeah, like not thinking about them. It's more
Yeah.
about educating the person as to how they want to think forward and how they want to move forward. So
Mhm.
that's
Right.
more important to us than to, start with phases right off the bat.
Yeah. So at the conferences, you guys do a lot of like consultations,
Yeah.
and people can book consultations. So what can they expect with a consultation that they either book with you, virtually or at one of these upcoming conferences?
So, generally, what we do is, because our nature of service is such that, if someone comes on the spot and they're like, "Hey, I have a website. Can you just take a look at it?" We cannot like audit it in like 5 minutes. It's not possible. So,
Right.
what we generally recommend people before, they come to our the conferences where we're vendoring, we ask them to book their one-on-one session, wherein they send us their details, they send us the marketplace they're selling their products at, or if
Their
they're, yeah,
websites,
their
yeah.
websites,
Mhm.
everything, all the details, socials, etc. And then we audit it.
Mhm.
Then we do like an in-depth analysis. We see where the problem areas are. We also highlight the good parts, so it's not all
Right.
about
You don't
improvisation.
want to be like, this sucks.
Yeah. Oh, you're the worst.
You got to build a sandwich. You're doing this really well. This part,
Exactly.
not so much, but you're okay over here. We could do
Yeah,
some
Yeah.
help over here. Yeah.
we're not like doctors. It's more like along the lines of making sure that, they understand everything, like improvisations, what is needed, like, if there's something that's done but it's just not structured properly, maybe, or if
Mhm.
it needs a little tweaking, then we recommend
Right.
accordingly. So
Mhm.
whenever someone comes to us for like the one-on-one consultation, we actually give them like an audit report, and that audit report has everything that they can take back, and they,
Nice.
they can take a look at it in their, at their home, or like, whenever
Right.
free, and we explain them each and every section of what we've analyzed and interpreted out of whatever they've been doing so
And the
far.
best part with that report is that you don't need to hire anybody to do those changes,
Yeah.
right? If
Mhm.
we audit the website, we make the language so simple that I can, without any knowledge of, I build the website myself, so I have like a
Right.
basic understanding. So I can go back. I have action points in that report. I can just open my laptop, log onto Shopify or any other platform, and start making
Yeah.
changes right then. And
Mhm.
once we see those changes come in, there's already a 60% or a 50% improvement with the problems that they had on the
Yeah.
site. So
Yeah.
if you implement them properly, yes, some changes might be technical, but they're only mentioned in the report because they're important.
Yeah, so
Right.
Otherwise,
our MO is like educating. Like even when we build
Mhm.
websites. So let's say if you guys were a product-based business and we were building out the website for you, we would give you like two options. We'd be like, "Hey, you know what? We can build out the website for you. Let's say optimize like some of your listings and then teach you,
Yeah.
educate you on how to manage your own Shopify dashboard, how to optimize your own product listings, how to do everything yourself and offer that at like no cost so that you
Mhm.
learn and you're self-reliant, and then you can make a call whether if you don't have, because some of our clients don't have much time on them, or they're
Right.
doing full-time jobs, and this
Yeah,
is
they just don't want to. Yeah.
so they're like, you know
Right.
what, guys, we've learned it, but
Thanks, but you did.
See, see,
but we always push
I
them.
like that because I have the same business model. I tell you how to do your own content, let
Mhm.
you go out there and
You
start
can do it
doing it, and be
yourself.
like, "Hey, wait a minute, this takes a lot of time and it's a lot of
Yeah.
work. I'm just gonna
Let
let
me do it
John
for
do
you.
it."
yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
exactly, and that's what we feel, that we feel that hiring us or getting us on board or any other, I think, agency on board should not be a need, it should be a want.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
should, there's a big difference between a need and a
Well,
want.
and the teaching, we talked about this, I
Mhm.
don't know, at whatever point. I think when the consultation that we did with you guys was, I've heard the horror stories of other people in the maker industry hiring out, an agency or whatever, and
Mhm.
then either being taken advantage of because now they have access to
Yeah.
all of your stuff,
Yeah,
right?
Mm.
And then two, they don't know how to make changes once that agency is gone or once they stop paying them. And now they're like, they have this whole website that either maybe isn't even exactly what they wanted.
yeah,
And now they don't have the knowledge or skill to be able to go in and make small changes to their listings or whatever on their own.
yeah,
It's like it reminds me. So I had a dog like several years ago who was a lot of work, right? So I sent him to basically like boarding school or obedience school for like a dog. And they kind of trained you, but for like 30 minutes once you picked him up, he lost
yeah,
everything that he had learned because I wasn't trained. They needed to train him and me
Together.
almost as much,
yeah.
Yeah. No, that
because
makes sense. That's a
That
valid point.
that
And
does.
nobody does that. That's actually a good insight.
Yeah, like we
yeah,
we
because I
sent
I
our
just
Ours
we
too.
sent ours to a boarding school because he was a lot of work, just like yours. And every time, like he went to the school, he did his sessions, he came
Mhm.
back, and then we had another dog at home who was like living the best of his life. And then both of them met, and this guy who was trained apparently, he
Would
forgets
would
everything
fight.
in an instant, and he's back to being like the naughty
Yeah.
kid that he.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally understand. And he was supposed to be trained. Everybody at home was supposed to be trained to how to
Yep.
be with that
And
behavior.
both are rescue dogs.
Yeah.
So
So
like, our dog that we sent to the boarding school, he had like prior trauma before we
Right.
rescued him.
yeah.
So
So
the trainer would be like, he has trauma, that's why he's aggressive, and
Mhm.
you got to train him the right way. And we were like, okay, you know what? When he's
The
with
right
you,
way.
yeah, when he's with you guys, he's like listening to you, but when he's with us, he's like fighting with the other dog. There's blood
Kind of
all
like our kids who don't
yeah,
listen to
Yeah.
John's mom
yeah,
Yeah.
because they know our kids know there's no rules with her and they don't have to listen. And then, with us, they listen a little bit better, but they still don't listen.
Right.
But so it's that same thing, right? Like when you outsource and it is something important like a website, you do need to know, how to do those things. Okay, it's fine if you don't want to, but
Yeah.
having that knowledge, because there's even if it's not something negative, right? Like, say you guys are on vacation and something happens, or say you guys are unattainable for whatever reason, you're sleeping or something and something happens, you do want to at least have a basic knowledge to help
Correct.
yourself in those,
That's a
situations.
very
Yeah,
very
that's the
valid
goal.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very valid point. Yeah.
And that's what we tell them. Like
Yeah.
there are times that when we push out the 60-minute and they're like, you know what? You guys do it. That's why I'm like, no, you have to take it. I'm sorry. I'm
Right? You don't have a choice.
It's free. Just take it.
Happens 80% of the time that we're scheduling that call. They're like, guys, I don't really need it, I'm gonna get you to do it. I'm like, that's okay, thank you so much.
Whoever.
Have to be present on that call, be attentive, take notes, and understand what we're teaching. So it
Yeah.
kind of, I mean, I feel bad doing that
Right.
because
Right.
I don't know, I don't want to impose that on them.
But it's important.
It's important for
It
them
is,
to know.
yeah.
At
Yeah.
least we tell them that even if you move out to another agency or hire someone in house,
Right.
you would at least be able to monitor the amount of time they'll take to make those changes.
Yes.
So
And
so
just
that's how you
having,
ready.
yeah, so kind of like where I've hired, someone to do my accounting, I still know at least a little bit, so that, like, hopefully I'll know
Yeah.
if she hasn't done something or she's not
Yeah,
doing something properly, or making sure she thought about this and depreciation value and all of that stuff, right?
Exactly.
Having a basic knowledge of those things have helped us with, like, probate and that kind of stuff, when a loved one passes, and just having that general knowledge and at least knowing when to hire out, and knowing enough so that you can hire quality as well.
Right.
That's the knowledge you have to learn, even when it comes to this stuff, when you
That's true.
outsource.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're coming up
we-
to an
yeah, I
end
was gonna
here
say.
on Gen Pop.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. So this is a perfect time to the discount for our members.
Yeah.
For our viewers.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so for anyone who's watching this or who's watched this episode, what we're offering is, if you're interested in our services, if you're interested in the SEO service, what we're doing is, if you reach out, if you book a call with us, and you mention that you're directed from the podcast or from Riley Black Project, we'll offer you a free month on the SEO service with a 3-month contract. That basically means we'll be working with you for 3 months, but you only pay for 2 months. And within those 3 months, I think we capture a lot of ground. We resolve so many technical issues that build a strong foundation of SEO. We work on several aspects of your on-page and off-page optimizations. I'm sorry if I'm getting too technical, but yeah, we'll take over everything.
And we'll
when
teach
we
you.
have that. Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll teach you when we get on that call.
Yeah. So we do, like, with SEOs as well, we because we feel like, okay, you know what, we're sitting with a client on month-end meetings and we're like, ask us questions. Our team
Right?
needs to be on their toes.
Yeah.
Right.
Ask us questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We educate them.
Yeah.
So that's the key.
Yeah, and
And then-
I think 3 months is good, because I like to work with video clients as well for 3 months,
Yep.
Yeah.
especially with content, because
1
you
month
just get
is not enough.
Oh,
no,
no.
Yeah.
because you really get a feel of, like, their wants, their needs, their
Mhm.
style, and then also their audience and what like their audience does and where they live. So I
Yeah.
think 3 months is a good, like, baseline to
Yeah.
like get those actual numbers
Exactly.
to really start seeing movement.
So 1 month is like, it won't even get the needle moving.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
Like,
understanding everything.
yeah, 1 month goes in your strategy,
Framework,
understanding your
yeah.
brand, your audience,
Mm-hmm.
setting up so much stuff, all the back end support. And then probably towards the end of month 1 is when you actually start optimizing stuff, and then
Right.
take it from there. And then obviously it's organic, you're not paying Google or anything, so it takes
Right.
time to show
Right.
results. So yeah, 3 months is like a very neat period to kind of test what's going on.
Yeah.
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 And then where can people find you if they want more information?
So they can obviously find us on our website. It's snadigital.com. There's a little button on the site right on the top that says get a quote or contact us. It has a form. You can reach out to us, book a call with us. Everything's on the site. We're pretty active on Instagram.
Yeah.
At least I would like to believe so. And they can find us on @snadigital.com. Oh, at the rate SNA Digital. Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
And
Perfect.
John and
Uh-huh.
Chris.
yeah. And through John and Crystal. Yeah,
That works.
Yes.
Or Catherine.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or any of the top names in the maker
Right.
space. I'm
Yeah.
sure they
Yeah.
have the connection as well. You guys hang tight because we're gonna go over to Patreon and really get some information out of them. So if you want to hear about that conversation, head over, join Patreon. As low as $6 a month gets you in, and you get to be part of all the madness over there on Patreon. But that's it, and the life update's coming up next. And life update time. You are still there. I am still here.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
And
I'll be
in
home.
between that, I went there and came back.
I came back. Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
awesome to be able to spend so much time with him. You know,
Yeah.
when I normally would come for just a week, you know, the travel days there and back were kind of a wash, right? So
Yeah.
if I came for a week, that means it's already down to 5 days. And then, you know, spending time with my dad, but my dad isn't the only family member who's in Colorado. It's my mom and my
Right.
sister and all of my friends that I grew up with. So trying to balance all of that in just 7 days was always
Yeah.
a
It's always
little
tough.
difficult, right? Yeah. And then I would feel guilty because then I try to spend as much time as I can with him. But then there's also the, you know, I need to allow him to rest. And I don't want to spend too much time that I'm taking away from rest that he normally has. The logistics of it, staying an hour away, you
Right.
know, at the traffic and just all of that. So,
Yeah.
you know, having this 2 weeks, I mean, every out of 14 days, only 2 of them I did not go see him for at least a couple hours.
Yeah.
And but to be completely honest, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I think it finally hit me on Sunday because again, I've been running around.
Right.
I've been working from my phone, which you can do a lot from your phone, right?
Right.
But like there's a lot that is done better or more effectively from a computer.
Right.
And yeah, I just miss my old routine. I have a new routine here. But yeah, so it was good to spend a lot of time with him. Although, you know, we did basically start hospice. It's, you know, hospice is it's such a broad term.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, so on his good days, the way I describe it, on his good days, I feel like my dad has 6 months to a year plus, right? On his bad days, I understand the need for hospice, and you just never know which one of those days it's going to be. It
Right.
could be random. It could be because he didn't get a good night's rest. It could be because he, you know, got a virus, because those things go around like crazy in you know, those homes.
Yeah.
It could be a bad fall. You know, it's a roller coaster, you know, and you
Yeah.
just don't know which ride you're gonna have that day. But yeah, I just keep saying how thankful I am that I've had that freedom to be able to come out here and, you know, thank you for holding down the fort with the businesses and the kids and just everything, and allowing me, you know, this time to do that. So yeah, it was good, but I am ready
Yeah.
to be home and to be, you know, in my environment and not be in traffic.
Right.
Most
Well,
of the
you got
time.
a little glimpse of it in that we snuck in one day and we went over to GS2 Awards
Yeah, that was
at
awesome.
the
Yeah.
learning event, and got to see Katie,
Yeah.
Miles from PDS, and Nick
Yep.
from
JR loved all of it.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah. Chance, who was on
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago, I guess, depending on
Yeah.
when you're watching this. A couple
And
episodes
Peter
ago.
Norman, it was
Yeah,
sandblasting.
iconics. Yeah. So it was good
Yeah.
seeing everyone, and of course Braden. But yeah,
Mhm.
it was a fun time. Jr. sandblasted his heart away.
He did. He would have done 14 cups
Yeah.
if we let him.
Yep.
He was
Yeah.
all over it.
He did that. He did some hats. He made some earrings.
Oh,
Yeah, he had a great time. He had a
yeah.
great time, and then
I did
seeing
too. It was a nice distraction
right.
from everything that
Mhm.
was going on. It was nice to see my friends,
Right.
to kind of bitch about certain things to them, and
Almost like seeing your second family, right? Because it's
oh,
like it's
totally.
gotten to that.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was like my two worlds, like,
Mhm.
in the same spot, and it was like, "What is this?"
Right.
Because normally we have to travel to them.
Right. It's like bringing two friend groups together, and you're like, what? Yeah.
Literally, right? You typically don't mix them.
Right. Typically,
Yeah.
but yeah. So
Um,
yeah, that was great. It was great. Jr. had a blast. He did
mm,
really good at the airport. It was our first. It was our first like father son alone trip.
yeah,
That was pretty cool. And then I joked and I told him like, well, now I need to take a trip with Jackson because it's only
right?
fair. But yeah, he did really well. About hour 3, he started getting antsy on the plane,
So
and
do I.
that's when he would ask like how much longer.
Right.
He wanted to play the Switch together.
Mm,
And then he wanted my laptop to watch like movies or whatever.
yeah.
But I have a 17-inch laptop, and on the
Right.
plane, it's like there's not that much space.
Mhm.
But on the way to Colorado, we did have the only seats available were the extra leg room. Like,
Mm,
first world problems only here. The
right.
only seats available were like basically Southwest version of first
Yeah,
class. Um, so there we had room for the laptop, and I was gonna give him the iPad, but then
yeah.
I realized he has the wired headphones, so he
Oh,
had to
yeah.
have my laptop. So
Mhm.
yeah, so there, and then on the way home he wanted it. I'm like, there's not enough room, because there we were
Yeah.
like regular seats.
Yeah.
um but no, he did well. It was, man, it was so nice traveling without bags and just a carry-on. That was
Mhm.
so nice.
Yeah.
Didn't have to worry about those people who were trying to rush in. I was like, fine, chances are you're going to baggage claim. I'm not.
Right.
I'm going straight to the car.
Yeah.
I'm out
So
of here.
have at it. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was nice. My favorite moment was the first day that we went to go see your dad. He was sitting there in the chair,
Yeah.
slunched over like he normally is, watching TV.
Mhm.
And then JR went in for a hug, and that man like sprung up.
Oh, yeah.
Like he went from here, he said and went
Yeah.
for that hug, and yeah.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, he loved those hugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good. It was good seeing your
Mhm.
dad, light up with JR. That
Yeah.
was that was good.
I agree.
But yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good trip. And I mean, I was glad to be home too. Like after, and I was only there for what, 3 days, 4 days.
It's been so long. I don't even know what my life looks like
Yeah.
anymore. Oh, and again,
Uh,
like I'm telling you, I'm so thankful, and it was so good. And it
right.
like
It's draining.
there, the time that I spent with him could have only been by spending that,
Right.
that much
Yeah.
time I got.
Yeah.
And when you got there, I had already like I was, had friends like
Yeah. At the
in
at
there.
the assisted living.
Uh-huh. And I
Cheating
had
on
to
me.
say bye to one of them today, and his name was John.
Yeah. Cheating
And
on
I
me
was like,
with
"Bye,
John.
John, it's my last day here." And yeah, so they became, because I would see them every day too,
Right.
because I
Yeah.
was, with
Yeah.
him. Um, so yeah, it was so worth it. But yeah, just getting back to
Yeah.
some
A
kind
little
of
bit of
normalcy
yeah,
is
for sure.
will be will be
For
nice.
sure. It'll be nice to have you here to cut things and ship the orders. So all I gotta do is pull them.
Right? I don't really want to
Yeah.
get back to that,
Oh,
but
well.
sure.
Yep. You got to. That's why we do the whole podcast.
No, I know.
So yeah, that's all we got. As far as upcoming trips, we have the Jamboree in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then AP LaserCon at the end of the month, and then that'll wrap up May.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be
That's
fun.
both gonna be
And
fun.
I should have a new camera by then
Yeah, we
maybe.
need to talk about that.
if I decide to pull the trigger, which I think I
Okay.
am. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and I'll get a yelling after this. So we'll wrap this up so I get yelled at. But either way, I'm buying a camera.
No.
So it's like the meme. What is it like? You buy it and she yells at you, but at least you got a new camera.
Mm.
Like you might not be able
I-
to sleep in your bed, but at least you have a
Like
new
you
camera.
said in the Patreon portion, I support this
Yes.
purchase.
Yes.
I also
yes,
just
yes.
didn't know it was
You
happening.
just didn't know it
tomorrow.
was happening. Right. Because we
Yeah.
had talked about this. And again, like we said in Patreon, this is why you should join Patreon. I almost bought the camera while out there in Colorado. But then I was like, I didn't pull the trigger. And I could buy it for, so obviously used there or renewed on Amazon for the same price.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, if I'm buying it from there for that same price, I might as well just buy it renewed from Amazon and have at least, if nothing else, free returns. So if I turn it on and it doesn't work, I can just
Right.
return it and
Yeah.
no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
So
All right.
that'll do it for the Ride By Project. Chris and John.
Maybe we're all done. The Rally Black Project. Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Wait, hold on. Nino, I'm recording.